Hi everyone. So this is your first chapter Indian Constitution. So before going into the topic Constitution, let us first understand the basic concept. So which authority is supreme in India? Whether it is a president, prime minister, parliament or constitution. If you know the answer, or keep it for yourself till the last because I'll be explaining about the constitution. Now, coming to the Constitution, what is this Constitution? They say the Constitution is the rule book of India. See, guys, when we got our independence on 15th August 1947, the Indian government was not knowing on how to frame the rules and regulation and how to rule this economy. So what they did was they borrowed some rules and regulations from the British government. So the British government agreed to give the rules and regulations as a base where uh, keeping that as a base, the Indian government will frame a new laws and regulations for the future. And at that time, group of people framed a committee called as drafting committee which was headed by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and this constitution is containing all the rules and regulations for the future purpose. See, if you look at this constitution now, you will find more of guidelines rather than the rules and regulations because these guidelines will help you on how to frame the rules for the future. At that time, what happened was they thought that in future some other government will come into existence. At that time, they will remove all these rules and regulations and they will frame the new one. So, keeping that in mind, they only listed all the guidelines on how the rules to be made. So, in this constitution, we say it as a written constitution or a written form of constitution because if you see the constitution is in a written form. That is why we call it as a written law, a written form, or written constitution. It is also known as a codified law. So what do you mean by codified law? It is a standard procedure on how to make a law. So here is a simple question for you. That is, on which day constitution was fully prepared? Many people will be thinking it is on 26th January 1950. If the answer is 26th January 1950, you are definitely wrong because I asked the question on when it was fully prepared. It was fully prepared on 26th November 1949, but it was implemented on 26th January 1950. Okay, now in India, we have three constitutions, or we can say it as a three organs of India. They are legislature, or we can say it as a legislative, executive, and then judiciary. Now let us move in depth of each and everything. The first one is legislative. So what is legislative? We say it as a parliament of India. So its main function is to enact or to frame the laws in India. So now what do you mean by a law? It is a system of rules and regulation. Now what is a rule? It is a guideline saying do's and don'ts. See, for example, in this corona time, it is compulsory for you to wear a mask. That is a rule that you have to wear a mask. And what do you mean by regulation? If you violate the rule, then you have to face the consequences. Now, if you did not wear a mask, then you have to pay a fine. So it is a regulation. Now, how the parliament work? So this parliament works under the two levels, that is central level and state level. So the central level, it is known as a union parliament. So whatever the decision they take in a central level, it will be affected to whole country. See guys, before what is to happen is there was something called as Article 370. So in that it was like The decisions whatever they take in the central government, it will be affected except Jammu and Kashmir anta ittu when previously. So what is that Article 370? That is the special power which is given to the Jammu and Kashmir. So they will have a right to decide whether the law passed by the government either to accept or not. If they want, they can accept it, or they can make their own rule. But currently, this Article 370 is removed. Now, whatever the decision that is taken by a central government or a union parliament, it will be affected to entire country. Okay. Now coming back, the central level is having two houses, one being lower house called Lok Sabha, other one upper house called Rajya Sabha. Now, the members who actively take part here are called as MP, that is Member of Parliament. I said here before, whatever decision they take here in the central level, which will be affected to the whole country. And here, the Prime Minister is also called as a MPs. Now, the Union or a central will be having a right to decide on a 97 items. Okay, coming to the state. So as it state, it will be only for a specific states. Now it is called as a state legislative assembly or a state council. It also works under two houses, Vidhana Sabha and Vidhan Parishad. So the members taking part in the state is known as MLA, that is Member of Legislative Assembly. So the chief minister, that is the ruling party head, will be a part of the state. So the state will have a right to decide on 61 items. I hope everyone have attained their age of majority and they have voted to their uh, favorite person or whatever. So now the process of electing a candidate is known as election. So what happens normally in election? The party will tell you that if you vote me, I will be providing you so and so. Now, keeping that in mind, you will vote a person of your choice and you make him win. Now, here, the party who said that I will be making you so and so this offer or this thing I'll be doing. So that is known as specific objective. We call it as a specific objective. Now, a group of people working for a specific objective is known as a party, like BJP, Congress. They will be working on a specific objective. Now, the person who has win or won the election will be said as a ruling party. Whatever the person who has lost the election, he will be said as a opposition party. Now, here the head of the party, that is the ruling party head, will also be a prime minister. And here the prime minister will also be a part of MPs, that is an union, that is in a central level. So in a central government, the prime minister will also be a part. So I said you before. Now here it contains of three items. We call these items as a list or activities or a matter or situations, anything. So in the previous slide, I said you that the central level will have a right to only 97 items. That is, in this we have three lists known as union list, state list and concurrent list. So in union list what happens is only the central, that is only the sorry, only the union parliament will be taking the decision for 97 items, and under the state list, only the state council will be having a right to take the decision only for 61 items. And in the concurrent list, both the union as well as state will be taking the decision. So here there is no standard item because this will be keep on changing. That is why we don't have any particular item for concurrent list. That is the third list. So please keep this in mind. It is important for your exam also. Now, if there is any dispute between the two government or a two list, that is union list or state list, then the union government will take a decision, and that decision will be the final decision. So now let us move on to the second organ, that is executive. So we say this executive as a government of India. So its main function is to implement the laws enacted by the legislative. See, previously we studied about the legislative assembly. So what is that? It only frames a law. So who will implement those laws? Executive will implement the law. Now, here also, if any person violates the rule, he has to face the consequences. Now, guys, tell me how many types of government are there in India? Is it one, two, or three? Yes, it is three types of government. One being central government, second state government, third local government. Now let us move in detail of central government. So we call the central government as a union government where the head is prime minister. So the central government head is prime minister. So what are the responsibilities of a central government? So whenever they have to pass a new rule or a new law, they have to get a permission from the head of the country. Who is the head of the country? The head of the country is president. Who is the head of the state? Head of state is governor. Now coming back to this, they has to take a permission from the head of the country, that is president. So president will look on all these notes, and if he is satisfied with the law, then he will pass and he will sign and he will affix his signature. That is, he has accepted that and he can pass the law. After getting a signature on affixed by the president, they can pass the law. Now, the second one is state government. So, the head of the state is chief minister. I'm sorry, here it is a governor, but it is not governor. This is chief minister. So, the head of the state is chief minister, and when they have to pass any law, then they have to get a permission from the head of the state, that is by governor. Okay, so the governor will be providing the signature and approval. Only then they can pass the law. Well, the last one, that is the local government. So in local government we call it as a municipal government also. So the head is mayor. So it will be working under the supervision or it will be working under state government itself. But the mayor will be providing a permission for everything. But if it is any big issues, big rule has to be passed, then they can refer to the state government itself. Then the mayor will be referring to state government. Okay. Now the third one is judiciary. That is the third organ of constitution. So what is this judiciary? This judiciary is nothing but a court of India. So its main function is to guide us to understand the law. That is, it will guide us to interpret the law. It will protect the provisions of the Constitution. It gives justice to people who have suffered. See guys, here you may get a question on um, how the constitution is being protected and so the answer will be Supreme Court. Now, how many courts are there in India? That is, how many types of judiciary are there in India? It is three. One being civil court, second being criminal court, third being special court. Now, coming to the civil court, it deals with the civil cases like divorce, family matters, etc. So the first court being the lower court. If they are not happy with the lower court, then they can go to the district court. If they are not happy with the district court, if they are not happy with the district court, then they can move to the high court. Even if they are not happy with the judgment given in the high court, then they can move to the last court, final court, that is Supreme Court. Now, the second one is criminal court. So, the criminal court will be leading with the criminal cases. So, the first court is magistrate court, second one is legislate court, third is high court, fourth is session court, and the last Supreme Court. So, the special court, so we call it as a tribunal. So, any complaint is here can be registered about the company. So, if you have any problem with any company, then you can move to the special court. So here they will be dealing with the four courts, that is NCLAT, National Company Law Appellate Tribunal, NCLT, National Company Law Tribunal, SCBI, Security Exchange Board of India. The last one is Securities Appellate Tribunal. So what you learn? The legislature will frame a laws and the executive will enforce those laws, and the judiciary. If any person violates any law, then the court will punish them. So this is what the three organs says. Now let us quickly move on to the question and answer session. The first question being, which of the following states having legislative council? Is it Manipur, Odisha, Telangana, or Jharkhand? Answer is Telangana. So now, guys, I'm sorry, I have not answered your first question, right? So what was the first question that I asked you? I can't go back. That's why I'm saying here only. My first question was, which authority is supreme in India? Whether it is a president, prime minister, parliament, or constitution. See, it can't be a president because he is a part of the organ. Now, Prime Minister, even Prime Minister cannot be supreme in India because he is made according to the constitution. So when it say parliament, parliament is nothing but executive, legislative, and legislative and sorry, executive, legislative, and what judiciary, right? So it is next is constitution. So the answer is constitution because if any rule that is made by a constitution, that will be the final, and no person cannot go beyond the constitution or its decision. Okay, I hope you got the point. So the next question is, how much time it took the Constituent Assembly to finalize the constitution? Answer is 2 years, 11 months, 17 days. Option A. The next question is, the Constitution is the supreme law of land and it is protected by, I told you before, it is protected by a Supreme Court. Option A. Another question I want to ask you. The question is, the Constitution of India is the lengthiest constitution in the world. Option A true, option B false. Answer is true because it is the lengthiest constitution in the world as it contains many provisions in the constitution book.